How's it going, man?
Good, mate. Good. How about yourself, brother?
Good, thank you. I guess we're gonna start this podcast gig now. We've been talking about it for a while now. It's just gonna be about comics, pop culture, current events, a lot of Game of Thrones and a lot of Stranger Things stuff. Some figure talk, all that. We hope that you guys stay along for the ride. It's just basically trial and error right now. We would love to have you guys on here. It's also going to be uploaded to YouTube, Spotify, and other platforms as we go on. The more advanced we get into this podcast journey, the better the quality and all that is going to be. So we just want you guys kick back, relax, listen to the two of us dingle and dangle over some of the current stuff going on in our comic world. And yeah, we'll just go from there. So what's up, man? What's the latest news you got on top of your head today? Did you see that new Captain Marvel movie?
Mate, I managed to check that out last night. And to be honest,
Nice.
I went in it with a pretty open mind.
Mm-hmm.
You can't help but hear a bit of hype and a bit of, sass going on about it and how it's going to bomb and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, I enjoyed it, It's a bit of a different take on her backstory. Obviously, if those of you read the comics,
Mm-hmm.
how Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel gets her powers and whatnot. So they little twist spoilers, obviously. If you're
Yeah,
listening
of
to
course.
this, you
Spoiler,
should have seen it by now.
spoiler. Yeah, should have seen it by now. It's been out for a few days, so if
Yeah.
not, it's all your fault, guys. Sorry about this, but spoiler
Yeah.
warning. If you guys don't want to listen to here and out, we're not going to try to be too spoilerish, but we'll just give our thoughts on it. I thought it was amazing.
Exactly. I loved it.
I loved it too. Definitely not the top 5, but top 10 for sure.
I
I
think
I
it's
don't.
got Black Panther beat for me.
It beat Black Panther. It beat Ant-Man for me too.
Definitely.
It beat a lot of the Star Wars movies for me. I know it's a different genre, but if you guys like Star Wars, if you guys like Guardians of the Galaxy or Thor Ragnarok, you definitely get this feeling from it. This movie, it's beautifully well put. The reviews were total bullshit and nonsense that they
Exactly.
kept talking about it. It was just a review bomb by haters and against a different kind of movement, which it definitely didn't deserve it. Brie Larson did an amazing job with the movie. The
She did.
supporting cast, yeah, the supporting cast is really good. And yeah, I was highly impressed. I would definitely pay to see it again. I'm not sure if you would want to do that too,
Mate,
but I would.
I saw it for my second time yesterday, mate. I saw it opening night here in New Zealand. The missus surprised us with tickets with the advanced screening. And then a couple of buddies of mine bought tickets and we went and caught it almost the next day on the official opening.
Wow.
And I loved it, mate. It was a typical Marvel origin story, which I love. That's how the whole basis of the MCU's been created, is origin
Yep.
stories. And I'm glad they kind of went back to that formula,
I also love the fact that if you're not a Marvel fan and if you don't read the comics and you're not all caught up with all the previous Marvel movies, I love how they introduced her into the world, and then they basically showed the Kree, and all that jazz. Like, not to get too spoilerish, but it's an amazing movie that you guys gotta check out. Even if you guys check it on Netflix for down the line or anything, Redbox, whatever you guys have, I recommend watching this movie. Don't wait until Endgame comes out. Watch it before Endgame because it'll
you
put two and
definitely
two
need to see
together.
it. Yep.
Yeah,
You definitely
definitely.
need to.
So
It's
yeah,
like that. It's that little missing piece of the puzzle that you need to help push you into Endgame.
well,
And
everybody already
also,
knows. Go ahead, Sam.
there's a few little Easter eggs throughout it that make reference to things that happened back in the original Avengers film. There's little bits and pieces here and there that, if you've been following the films up until this point, you may have noticed that, you may have heard it, and it just ties it all together.
Yeah, well, if you remember at the end of Avengers Infinity War, where the post credits were Nick Fury, he's trying to page you while he's turning to dust, and then everybody in the theater just goes crazy yelling because everybody knows what that is on the page, or it's Captain Marvel. So now this movie will tell you what's going on and connect you to Endgame. So it's like a nice little ride. I know we're getting into phase 4 now after this movie. There's gonna be some bittersweet moments, but I still love the way Marvel is heading to the right direction right now. Not so much
Definitely.
DC because we just lost Batman. I don't know how you
Which
feel.
hurts me, man. That cuts me deep. I loved Batfleck. I thought he did an amazing job as it.
Mhm.
The character,
Yeah.
the everything, man. It was just
Mhm.
it's a sore one, and I hope we don't lose Cavill next.
Yeah. I
Superman,
hope
because
they'll.
there's already been talks of that, and I just think he's the perfect Superman that we've had since old Christopher Reeves.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
don't want to see him go. I think now that we've got Momoa as Aquaman, they've got Aquaman right, they've got Wonder Woman right. Shazam is looking like he could be bang on.
Yeah. It looks promising. I've seen
With
already a
Zachary
couple
Levi,
trailers. Yeah, I love Zachary Levi ever since Chuck. I really like
I
his
love
work in
Chuck,
that.
man. That was great.
Hmm. Very underrated sitcom TV show. People
Hugely
our
underrated.
age. Yeah, it's usually on. It was a really good show, but I'm a really big fan of Zachary Levi. The trailers for Shazam didn't really just make me go, "Oh my God, I gotta see this movie," but it
Yeah,
just had little interest into where DC is actually going, especially now they have James Gunn on their team. It just
exactly.
you're kind of interested. It's like looking over your neighbor's fence, be like, "Ooh, what the hell is he barbecuing now?"
Well, that's
Like
it.
you have.
That's the latest talk, is with him on Suicide Squad 2 now, and it's going to be a bit of a soft reboot. Will Smith's
Mhm,
out as Deadshot.
I saw that
That's
today.
huge.
Mhm. Uh, Well, you know what? Honestly, I like Will Smith. Don't get me wrong. The movie he did, Bright, in Netflix, it was really
Right, was
underrated
brilliant.
too. I liked it.
Yep.
I think it
Yep.
was brilliant too. I'm happy they're doing a second movie to it, but he didn't really capture my attention that much in Suicide Squad, anyways.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be kind of like when we recasted basically War Machine and we got Don
Exactly.
Cheadle instead. I
Yep.
think that
I think
Idris Elba will do a better
Idris
job.
Elba's going to come. He's going to he's going to put a great sort of
Mhm.
spin on the character, I reckon, and I think he's going to be brilliant.
I think so too. I agree with you 100% on that. And I like it is sad what they're doing with Superman and what they're doing with Batman again. But I think if they get the right pieces in the puzzle again and they reboot it the right way, they could be not so say competitive, but they could make the movies more interesting. Because come on, DC Comics are amazing. You got the
Exactly. DC.
biggest villains in there, biggest
Yeah.
everything. And for the movies to be this shit, it's just unacceptable. You know.
Yeah. So DC Comics has Marvel beat in the way of books right now, big time, with Jim
Hmm.
Lee and on all the originals being there writing and doing the inking. And
Hmm.
I think the DCEU has a great opportunity now with the sort of soft reboot that they've had with everything.
Hmm.
Um, the future of it's looking bright. Aquaman was brilliant. I loved it. It
Same
was a
here.
bit too sort of Fast and Furiousy in certain
Hmm.
parts, with the old
I mean, it
character.
worked. It,
But it
it
worked
actually
exactly.
worked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
I
was
think that's what they
a good
actually need.
origin movie of sorts. It's a good formula to use. People say, "Oh, they're just copying the MCU," but it's like, no, it's a formula that's been used by movies all around. And
Hmm.
if it works, use it, do it. It's what people
Yeah.
want.
Exactly, especially now that they have Marvel where they want them. Marvel is already completing their 10 years. They're going to their
Yep.
4 year, fourth phase now. Now they're transitioning superheroes. Now people are not going to be like, oh my God, are we losing Iron Man? Are we losing, Captain America or Thor? Like, how many movies can you see of them actually being here? Which
Exactly.
everybody was already heartbroken that we're not getting Hugh Jackman in any of the Marvel movies, ever since they
The
bought out
dude's that
Fox or, you know.
exactly the dude was Wolverine for 15 years
Hmm.
plus. It's like he's getting old. He's in his 50s. He can't do it forever. The
Yeah,
same with
how
old
many?
RDJ. He can't be Iron Man forever. As much
Yeah,
as he would love
exactly.
to it, I'm sure.
Yeah,
But
I don't think Marvel wants to keep giving him those massive contracts right now.
well, that's it.
It's like giving it
It
to a
costs him
football
too.
player.
It costs him too much money.
Hmm.
If he's getting 20, 30 mil per film, and he's only doing 10, 20 minutes of on
Hmm.
screen. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
As much as I love
So
the guy,
yeah, same here. It's just crazy. It's an exciting time to be any
it
kind of
is.
fan, Marvel fan, DC fan. Even right now, it's a little bit interesting what Watchmen is doing with HBO and Umbrella Academy. It's pretty good series. If you guys haven't checked that out,
Yeah.
it's a good series right now on Netflix if you have nothing to watch, especially after we just lost Punisher. So
Oh man, I'm
it's
still
it's
gutted. I just watched that
it's
last season, and it was brilliant.
yeah, it was really well put. Hopefully Hulu or some other platform picks them up. Showtime, I don't know.
Dude,
Just I'm praying that somebody picks up at least Punisher. I don't care about anything else. Just give us Punisher.
Yeah,
That's what we need.
I was a bit late to the game, but I'd literally just finished watching the last season of Daredevil as well, and even that reinvigorated it for me. I thought the second
Mm-hmm.
season, the best thing was the Punisher coming back into the light
Mm-hmm.
and having a fight there. But the third season, the second season I thought it got a bit weak at the end, but the third season just bam, man, it brought it all back. Having Bullseye in the mix, all of that was just Fisk
Mm-hmm.
being back in the game. You know, it was
Yeah,
just this is where it should
Fisk
be.
makes that show. He makes that
Hard
show.
out.
I seen his panel at C2E2 a couple years ago, and the way he talks about the cast and the way he talks about Daredevil in the series, that was his baby because he was the villain of that show. It doesn't matter
Yeah,
who else was on there, Bullseye. He was the main villain on that show,
Fisk
and he did an
in true
amazing job
in
with
true
it.
Fisk form, in true Kingpin form. You know, he was controlling it
Mhm.
all. Nobody knew. They got so blindsided, man, and he just came in there and swooped it.
Mhm. So, what else are you looking forward to? I think we have Stranger Things coming out on July. We have
Yeah,
Infinity War, just like we talked about. We got the Spider-Man sequel
dude.
coming up,
All of
which
that is amazing,
mhm,
but to be
mhm.
honest, man, the biggest thing I'm looking for, April 14th, mate, Game of Thrones season 8.
Oh my goodness, Game
Dude,
of Thrones. We could go on about this for an hour. We're not going to do that to
easily,
you guys, but
easily.
if you
Um,
if you guys have not checked the trailer out, how shocking was that for them to do it on a Tuesday, just out of the blue?
dude, I
What was
love
it?
it when companies do this. I love it when we
I
don't get a little sneak peek and all of a sudden, bam, a full trailer just drops and we're like, holy shit, and everyone's scrambling. You know, I
well,
love that shit.
actually, if you think about it, it was Fat Tuesday here in America, so they kind of dropped it on a Fat Tuesday when we're stuffing our faces with donuts here, you know.
That's it, man.
So,
Tuesday
but
for you, Wednesday for me, mate. You know,
oh, there you go. That time zone difference. If you guys didn't know,
a little hump day treat. You know, it was great.
yeah, if you guys didn't know, Sam from his previous Instagram panhandles and his great content he has on there, um, Sam, aka Kiwi Collector, he's from New Zealand, so this time zone we're in, that's gonna be a little bit battle sometimes, but we're always gonna bring you guys some form of podcast weekly for you guys. But
Mate, I'm good friends with Cable, mate, so he just sends me his little time travel device, and I come back and we get this shit sorted, mate.
well, tell him to hook me up because I'm tired of going to work every day, man.
Tell you what, man, once I crack that one, mate, we'll get the old time turner from Hermione, mate, from Harry Potter. She'll sort us.
So going back to Game of Thrones, yeah, man, I was super shocked. I just couldn't stop looking at the trailer. It's like, man, I'm at work here and I gotta watch the trailer at least 5 more times just to go on about my day. And I had a smile from ear to ear all day long,
Oh
just
yeah,
thinking about Game of Thrones. I know it's only 6 episodes, which I don't care,
but
but
they're hour long episodes, aren't they? They're like full. They're almost like full length films per episode, apparently. That's
yeah,
what I'm looking
it's
forward to, man.
that's what I'm looking forward to too.
But
I already have my
6 weeks before we see the whole lot. It's crazy.
yeah, it is crazy. Before you know it, it's gonna be summertime and all that jazz. But I don't know what's gonna happen to Game of Thrones. I don't know who's gonna die. But it's just crazy thinking about it now that 8 seasons already and it's almost over. You know, and
This is it,
it's
mate.
just if you guys
Winter's
haven't
here.
watched, it is. If you guys haven't watched the trailer, I highly recommend going and checking out. It's still number top 10 trending in YouTube, and it's still talked about highly on Twitter. We're not going to get too spoilerish in it. If you guys haven't seen the seasons, I don't know where you guys been. You guys had a year off to catch up on this, but it's gonna break the internet these 6 weeks. And I don't know if Jon Snow died. The thing is, if Daenerys dies, I'm kind of okay with it. But if Jon Snow dies, I think I'll be more heartbroken.
Man, if they were to kill the guy and then to bring him back again and then to kill him again, I'm gonna boycott the prequels, man. John Jon Snow has got to make it, mate. He's got to realize that he's a Targaryen. He's got to just ah, it's all got to happen, mate. It's all got to happen. I
I'm
just
still sad. I'm still sad about season 3. You know, the Red Wedding when they killed my favorite Robb
oh,
Stark.
mate,
I'm
tell
still
me
sad
about it,
about it all these
mate.
years
I'm still
later. Like,
gutted. Season 1 and 2, mate. Old Eddard Stark going. He was the main reason why I started watching the show, mate.
hmm
I remember
so
my folks at the time were like, "Oh, have you heard of this Game of Thrones?" I said, "No, what's that?" And they said, "Oh, it's got Sean Bean in it." I said, "Oh, I'll watch that. I love Sean Bean." And then
what
he
a
dies, and I was like, "What?" What? Everything he's
And
in,
now
man, he always dies. Foreign
and now
man, poor bastard.
the headless Funko Pop is going for close to $2,000 US for
Hell
no
no.
reason.
It's bullshit, man.
It is, but that's yeah. If you're right about April 14th, I can't wait till then either. It's coming up pretty
Ah,
soon, like 1 month away.
April, mate. There's so much coming out this April. It's crazy. In game, we got Game
Hmm.
of Thrones. Man, I don't know if I have enough time. I'm gonna have to duplicate myself.
I kind of wish that they put Endgame in December, but I already know that Star Wars is coming out in December, so they can't do that, you know. But
I can't get hyped about episode 9, eh?
I can't get hyped about it either, especially when you have all this stuff out there. And when the thing is, like we're hyped about Infinity War and Game of Thrones, Stranger Things is still coming out. That's what 18
Hell
episodes,
yeah.
And then
July
you give
4th, I think it's
us,
coming out, is it?
yep, July 4th,
Yep.
America's birthday. But then you think about it, Star Wars, and then where's really the hype? And then you have also Spider-Man 2 coming out, which I don't know how
Yep,
you feel about
Spider-Man.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
I love Jake Gyllenhaal.
I don't know. I don't know how he
I've been
looks
a
in.
fan of his since back in the old Bubble Boy days, you know?
Mhm,
I
mhm.
think he looks good, but I hope that he's not too big of a name that it's going to take away a lot of what the character is. I
Well,
think when you watch films like this and if it's you got too big of a face on the screen, it's hard to take away and be like, oh, that's. I mean, look at Batman. Ben Affleck. People are like, oh,
yeah.
it's Ben Affleck. I hate it. I hate Ben Affleck. It's like look past him. Look at the character. If he
Yeah,
wears the fishbowl, a lot of the time, and you don't see his face, I'll be happy.
mhm.
It's like
Yeah.
Mysterio wears that fishbowl 99% of the time.
Mhm. Mhm. You're 100% right about that because I didn't even think about that. When they first said that Jude Law was going to be in Captain Marvel, people are like, "What the? Why is he
Hell
going to
yeah,
be in there for?"
tell
And
me
then
about
he
it.
actually turned out to be pretty damn good.
I mean,
So,
look at Heath Ledger and Joker. When it came out
yeah,
that Heath Ledger was playing Joker, people hit the roof, man. People just would not let it die. And then what? An Oscar later,
yeah,
huge.
you're absolutely right. So yeah, we'll see what happens at there. It's just the thing is when I was watching Captain Marvel and I saw the previews, and then I also seen the previews on YouTube. He just doesn't like Mysterio is one of my top 10 favorite villains of all time. The
Yep.
thing is like seeing him on screen, it's like I don't know, I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah.
And
I hope they're not just rushing to stick him in there because they didn't have anything or anybody set for Homecoming.
hmm
For Far From Home. I hope it wasn't a
yeah,
rushed addition.
kind of like they did Ronan. I think that he died too soon. I think they should
Yep.
have gave him a little bit more storyline.
Yeah,
But
definitely, definitely.
what can you
Oh,
do? They want to make their
Ro-
money. That's how they're gonna
Ronan
make it.
Ronan died far too soon.
Way
He
too
should.
soon. And
He's like a very prevalent of villain. He's throughout everything. He should have been there till now.
yeah, he should have been in turned out
Like
too.
like another thing is before Infinity War came out, there's so many talks about what other villains we're going to see, and I was really hoping Abomination would have shown up. We would
Hmm.
have had a little
Yeah.
visit from him. So it's all these characters that they could use, but they just keep killing people off.
The thing is,
It's
with Abomination, I think they were talking about it, but I don't think they wanted to include all that CGI into it. You know?
yeah, it would have been huge. But the thing, the Hulk wasn't there, so it's like they could have done it. I suppose Caleb City was there at the same time too, so he used a
Hmm.
hell of a lot of CGI.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a tough
And
one, eh?
it is a tough one, and they're still talking about Fantastic Four movie, which I don't know if I wanted to see another Fantastic Four movie.
Oh
Ever
man,
since
that
I've been
last
in
one
high
sucked.
school, oh, they've been all really bad. Like there hasn't been one. The thing is, Doctor Doom. They still don't know how to make Doctor Doom right. They don't know how to make Fantastic Four right. It's just kind of
Yeah,
sketchy just to be like put him on a big screen. I think they need to go straight to Netflix or Disney, something like that. Just not the movie theater.
yeah, it's tough. I
It,
would love to see it done right on the big screen, but 3 movies they still haven't. It's like just chill out, leave them alone for now.
mhm.
Focus on some other areas. There's many more characters they could use.
Yeah, 100%. So, any figures you're picking up pretty soon, or any conventions coming in near you?
Mate, in New Zealand, we have one big convention every year on Labour Weekend, which is October for us, and it's
Hmm.
called Armageddon. It comes once a year. in Auckland here where I am. Looking forward to that. It's always a good time. Very pop heavy. I found the last few years. Like, no hate to people who collect Funko Pops. I'm not into them. And
Yeah, I feel like a lot of
they were
conventions.
everywhere last year.
I feel like anywhere you go now, any just convention, toy convention, anything like that. Me and Sedpool, shout out Sedi. We went last week to a Toy Con in Bridgeview, right outside Chicago. I think about 70% was pops. I was looking for some Mythic Legions for my buddy and maybe some Hot Toys. Absolutely nothing. I think all the halls
Yeah.
were kind of just pops, and they were all skyrocketed. It's like, where's all the Hot Toys? Where's all the cool stuff that you guys are pushing? Or give me some kind of art at least, Like, I'll
Where's
take
some
art
artwork?
prints.
Yeah, where are the
Mm-hmm.
comics? Where are the just plain standard figures? That's what it was
Mm-hmm.
like
Which
at the con I went to last. That's all it was. It was there's pops everywhere. They had a few comic booths, a
mm-hmm.
very very small amount of actual artwork and artists there signing stuff.
Which,
And
you
I
know
think
what,
this is
I don't blame. Like, I know everybody's in these Facebook groups and all these groups and everything. I don't blame people for always cycling out their collections or getting rid of their Funko Pops, because if you look at a Funko Pop and then you look at a Hot Toy right next to it, do you really need this pop collection that you have like over 100? It doesn't matter how much you have, and they don't do nothing for you. They're basically just bobbleheads. Or do you want a
exactly
beautiful statue that's gonna fit on a shelf, And then you also have to
exactly.
think about space, like space in your house, depending on what kind of room you have. All this, just I prefer statues and Hot Toys and 1/6 scale figures on my shelf opposed to a little pop in a box. But
Oh, for
that's just
sure.
my opinion. You
And
know.
like, don't get me wrong. Those that collect them, good on you. It's cool. It's cool that they've kind of created. They're kind of the new age Beanie Baby in a sense that it got people into collecting. Like people who have
Hmm.
wanted to buy figures and do this and do that, or like, it's a geeky thing. I'm not going to do it, so they'll get a pop because it's cute, it's cool. They can look on the shelf, but next minute that one purchase pushes them to buy a figure, and then next minute they got Hot Toys.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
I like what it's done for the pop culture community. That it's got people collecting who were either too scared to do it before or
100% agree with
didn't
you.
know what to get
100%.
first. It was a
Hmm.
nice little toe in the water first.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I've
Yeah.
definitely been tempted. Like my little brother, he bought his first like 2 or 3 pops, Dragon Ball Z pops, a couple of weeks ago, and now he's got about 25 of the bastards. And
Hmm.
he never thought he'd buy one, but it's just I've been tempted by a couple here and there. Haven't
Hmm.
quite picked one up and gone for it yet, but never say
I
never.
mean,
But
I mean, they're
like I
they're
said,
good looking. Don't get me wrong. There are a
yeah,
lot of pops that are really good looking, and then they're realistically, you're not going to get some of these pops in 6 scale or even Marvel Legends scale 6-inch lines. You're not going to get these kind of stuff in that where it's going to be years to collect some kind of certain lines. But the
yeah,
thing is with me, they're affordable. They're pretty cool, and you're right. They are keeping conventions and other stuff strong, like the culture community. It's keeping it strong still. It's something to
exactly,
collect.
yeah.
I think it's a good idea to have, but just me
And it,
personally,
and a
I
huge thing,
cycled out my pop collection already twice, and maybe it might be another third time if I see something I like. But I'm just trying to stay far away from them.
yeah. And I think the thing for me is space. Like if I had more space, I'd probably buy the odd one here and there, and they will look cool on a shelf and amongst other things. But one day, who knows?
Yeah,
Like
it's all it's all.
I was at a shop
Okay.
today earlier this morning, and I almost picked up. It was the Sauron Bathwave, the Deadpool with the X-Men training shirt on. I saw
Hmm.
that there, and I hadn't seen one of those in the wild here in New Zealand, so I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. I
Hmm.
ended up putting it down. They wanted $50 for it, so they could get fucked.
Oof.
um, but I saw it was the Thanos from Guardians of the Galaxy in his big throne, and it was one of those big bastard pops. It was huge,
Hmm.
and it had some weight to it. And I thought, shit, that would actually look pretty cool on the shelf. So I walked around with it for about 10 minutes. Had no price tag on it. And when I got to the counter, they wanted $70 for it. I was just like, get fucked. I put that thing down. I was like, no way. But damn, that almost had me, eh? It almost had me.
Almost
It
had
looked,
you.
it,
Just
it looked
oh,
badass, man. I was just like, I
$60
can't believe
too
that
much.
price. Yeah. I was like, if you were gonna pay me to take it, I would take it.
Hmm. Yeah, so I don't know. That's just my feeling of just
Yeah,
Funko Pops. But everybody collects what they want. Like I get hate for collecting the diecast 6-inch series. Well, they're kind of 7-inch series. Star Wars Wave. I get
dude,
hate
I
for
love
it, but
those
it's like
things. The elite,
I love
the elite
those.
series,
hmm Elite
they
series.
look
There you
great.
go. Yeah, they're underrated. Like a lot of them are going for 80 to $100. I just picked up the Darth Maul on Amazon. He was $49, which it
Yep.
was like $30 savings. You can't find him for that price no more, which is
And to
crazy.
be honest, the bots as well. A lot of the droids that come out look fantastic. Some of them
hmm
scale really well with 6-inch Black Series anyway.
hmm
And I'm a huge sucker for diecast. Like
hmm
any figures that come out that are like diecast, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta have a look at that. I love it.
I am too. It's like a mini hot toy, you know?
Exactly.
It's like I don't want to really push in money into hot toys for Star Wars because I'd rather put it into Marvel or get 3-0 Game of Thrones. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Game of Thrones 3-0 line, but I highly recommend checking it
Dude,
out.
they look amazing.
Amazing. Shout out to Big Dub. He has he basically has a complete line. I'm missing a couple still here and there, but they look amazing. Starting from the Hound and the they stay value or the value skyrockets for them. Once they're out, especially the deluxe edition. But those two are amazing. That's why I don't really want to collect the Star Wars hot toys because it's like so much to collect, and like you said, the space situation and that. Like I'd rather just stay away from that. That's why that line is so great because you could actually collect most of them. It just sadly every year it's going down and it doesn't look like they're producing anymore.
That's a shame, eh?
hmm
But
Yeah. So
I've looked at the 3-0 Eddard Stark figure several times because that that Sean Bean likeness is amazing. But on their website at the moment they're currently sold out, so
yeah,
I've not been
yeah,
able to. And I mean, the collection, what it comes with, you get this big Valyrian steel bastard sword, and you get a dagger, and you get like a little short sword too. And you get a
hmm
soft goods that, I mean, they are hot toys essentially.
yeah. Hot Toys like
They look amazing.
3-0 is probably my number one favorite company, and number two, it's not even Hot Toys. Sadly, it's Iron Studios. Iron Studios produces some fantastic statues. I know
They
a
do.
lot of people don't love statues, but Iron Studios gets no love absolutely in the toy community. Not that many people collect it. Maybe it's better to keep that secret down
It's
so the
kind of like
prices can stay
Mayfix,
down.
man.
Yeah.
Medicom Mayfix figures are amazing when you get a good one, and
hmm
they have like SH Figure Arts completely steals the show and imports and heavily articulated figures like that. Because
hmm
Mayfix is in the background, they're making some quality stuff that people just aren't jumping on. And Big Dub
Yeah,
made
they're not.
comment to that on one of his daily dubs, and there's some stuff that you can get out there, and you can get them cheap too.
Yeah, you could. And that's better for us collectors to actually appreciate that stuff because we could get it not at crazy prices like some of the Mescos. They're going for 3 times the value when they first come out just because it's sold out.
Exactly.
And honestly, the Mescos for me, they're kind of a dying brand. I know people love Mescos and all that, but it's just cycling figures basically all the time.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
see the appealing in them at all.
yeah,
But
I
Iron
had that
Studios,
I
no
had
love
that
at all.
Mexico Cyclops on pre-order for a year, and I got
hmm
the chance to have a little play and see with one in hand, and it was just it says it's a 6-inch. It felt much smaller, and I don't know, man. It killed it for me. As much as I love Jim Lee, and I try to get anything I can of him, and it's very Jim
hmm
Lee oriented. I had to cancel it, man. It just I don't know.
Yeah,
Wasn't a
you
fan.
just had that.
Wasn't a
Yeah,
fan,
just
man.
had that buyer's remorse kind of. It's better
Big time.
canceling there. Yeah,
Yeah,
better canceling there instead of getting it shipped to you and be like, you know what, I don't want this figure no more. Then what do? You know what I mean? Like
exactly. Yeah, and
you lose money.
that thing was
hmm
going to be $180 for me here in New Zealand, and I was just like,
Ooh.
man, I don't know.
Yeah, that exchange rate with the dollar is just crazy there in New
Oh, mate,
Zealand, especially that you guys don't get shit back there.
we don't get shit down here, man. That's why you've been such a good help, mate.
No problem, man. I always help you out with these kind of figures. If you guys want a little story, I always send Kiwi some figures to New Zealand because the prices in New Zealand are just crazy. If you guys do a little research on the figure market there, it's basically bare. And if they do get figures, like the waves are a few months behind, you could explain it to them, Kiwi.
Yeah, man. Like we the Black Panther Wave 2 was just starting to hit stores here. A standard Black Series and a standard Marvel Legends figure goes for about $50 New Zealand here, which is, I think, I don't know, 25, 28 US. I think you
Yeah.
guys get them for about $19, which is brilliant. And it's crazy. And if we do get a wave, typically we get it maybe 3 or 4 months after the US. And if you're holding a Marvel Legends figure in box in hand, look on the bottom label. They're packed right here in Auckland, New Zealand. And then they leave here, go to the States, and then we get the dreads, which blows my mind. Literally 40 minutes drive from where I am, the factory is where they box them up and ship them off. And yeah, we don't get them here. It's
That's
crazy.
crazy. It just completely skips you. When I first met you and we were first talking about figures, and then you said, "Hey man, because I remember I was selling a few figures, and you're like, "Hey, would you ship it to New Zealand?" I'm like, "What the hell does he want me to ship figures to New Zealand?" I had no idea what he was talking about. I'm like, then when he finally explained it to me that they don't get figures, it could even be a year before they get any waves, and the exchange rate, it ended up to be like $31 or $35 each, a new figure US, basically just for one Marvel Legend it would be like 35 US in New Zealand. That's $15 over market value that we would be
Yeah.
paying. So I've been just trying to help him out with the figures and piecing his collection together. But I'm just trying to get him to pick up a hot toy now instead of investing all this money into
Dude,
build a figure in Mbaku, even though that figure is amazing.
dude, you already made me catch the bug, mate. I've already bought one. I'm picky. I love Hot Toys. I'm picky as about what I want and who I want. Hey, I don't know if that Age of Ultron cap shows up anywhere near in my future, mate. He'll definitely be coming home.
Yeah, it's a big investment and it's a lot of coin to
But
put into
but
those kind
hell,
of things.
hell, they look amazing. I was literally just playing with my. I got the Iron Man Mark 6 armor with the triangle arc reactor
Hmm.
that he does in Iron Man 2. My favorite suit of all time. That was. People throw that Grail term around big time, but that has always been my Grail. It's like if I ever see him here, man, I'm buying him. And a new comic shop opened up like an hour and a half away from where I am, like last year. And we went there to have a look, and bam, I saw like a glint of golden and red hint in the back of this cabinet. And I said to the guy, I said, "What's that back there?" And he pulls it out. Mark 6, diecast. I thought, holy shit.
Oof. Uh-huh.
I said, I'll take
Man,
him. $600 later, mate. But he's sitting in my room, man. I love it. I get him out and I play with him constantly.
it's worth the drive. It's a beautiful
It's
figure.
mate, it's a big task loading him up with batteries to get some good photos, but it's worth it.
Well, I learned from Billy, and I also learned from Danny not to leave batteries into my figures. And
Yeah,
at
man. I,
first, at first I was like, "What the hell, like these guys talking about?" Toy Bills and Danny Killinger. Shout out to you guys. They're like, "Don't ever do that." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I did a little research later on. The next day, took out all the batteries, even if they're boxed up in my
yeah,
closet.
man.
Took the batteries out of all my figures. I'm like, "Well, I'm not letting this happen." If you
Exactly,
guys
man.
don't know, Key will explain to you the right way how to put batteries into figures.
Every time, mate, you take those batteries out, you put them into the figure, you take your photos, do what you want to do, take those batteries straight back out of that bad boy and store it, mate. Because you leave them in there for too long, they corrode, their batteries leak, they ruin your $250 US hot toy, and then you cry, basically.
Yeah, basically cry really badly like IP, which dude, I was surprised at that. And then I seen some of the stuff on Reddit and I'm like, wow, like this is
I
actually a
seen
thing,
some, yeah, man, I
you
seen
know?
some bad pictures, and I was just like, shit. I'm glad I already do it.
Exactly. But Toylanta just happened this weekend. I think tomorrow's the last day. All the buddies are down there. Josh
Hell,
Pence,
yeah, man.
Beach,
Days
Foxy.
like this, I wish I
Yeah.
wish I had my own private plane, mate, because I would come over to every single one. That looks like a
The
good
conve
time.
Yeah, it looks like a good time. The convention looks pretty good, but what's better is all these guys having a good time. Dog, Big Dub's down
Exactly,
there.
man.
All the big boys are down there, so it looks like everybody's having a good time. Convention looks good. So the next convention here in Chicago, it's C2E2 in March, and March 22nd. If anybody's going to be coming out, just PM me here on the Instagram. I'll meet you guys up, buy you guys a brewski or Coca-Cola if you guys not 21 yet. We'll hang out. But that looks like a good time. I'll be there Friday and Saturday. Gonna be meeting a couple guests, and then Star Wars Celebration, man. Too bad you can't make it out this year.
Dude,
First time in Chicago,
celebration looks amazing.
sold out within the first couple weeks. 5-day passes. The only thing left is Monday. But who goes to a convention on a Monday? I don't know. I'm not sure.
On a Monday. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. That's the last day, which usually it's a Sunday, the last day. Here, Monday. It's a 5-day convention, but I already know that this convention is going to be really packed. It's going to be hard to grab exclusives. Hopefully, they have everything organized because it's just going to be I think it's going to be a massive, massive long line comparable to San Diego Comic Cons, especially that they're talking about trailer drops and exclusive figures. Like I'm excited for it to see all my buddies, Josh Pence coming up and everybody else. But
that's what it's about, eh? Like the toys and the geekdom and the pop culture is amazing. It's a huge part of it. But like hanging out with all the boys you get to talk to every day online and watch videos with and talk about stuff. To see them in person, to catch up and just have a drink, have a beer with them, you know, that's what's going to be good. Have a beer, shoot the breeze, mate, you know?
Exactly. Even though we might dropkick somebody in line, we're still going to have a good time.
Even though old, what's his name, old Kane the Demon might come out, mate, and choke slam some people.
Oh, I'm bringing
Kane
watch out
too. You got to watch out for that dude, mate.
That's my bodyguard. There's nobody going to be cutting me in lines. Yeah, I got a couple of buddies coming up. A couple of buddies staying with me here too. I'm talking Austin Collins too. Really good guy in the figure community. I'm gonna be hanging with him all weekend, so it should be fun. You know, Star Wars Celebration in Chicago. I know. I think one of my buddies explained to me 1 year it's in the States and then one year it's overseas, something like that. So, hey, we'll see how it works out here. Hopefully they come back again. You know, but
hell yeah, man.
It should be a good time.
Also, what about next year, mate? Wellington, our capital city of New Zealand.
Yes, sir.
Secures the 2020 host rights, mate, to the Worldcon Science Convention.
By George R. Martin.
Hosted, the Toastmaster will be the legendary Game of Thrones author, George R. Martin, mate.
Mm-hmm.
It's running from July the 29th to August the 2nd, so if anybody's thinking of coming to New Zealand, do it next year. Because it's going to be a bit cold. July to August, but it will be hella worth it, man.
Well, your cold is nothing comparable to the Midwest cold here.
Yeah, we don't get any snow, so don't worry about that. No snow, there's no ice.
Well, Iron Patriot is planning to come out to New Zealand even for a week because that looks like an amazing convention, especially if they get the Game of Thrones cast and if they get the prequel cast. That's a convention you really need to make if you're a Game of Thrones fan. That's going to be massive.
It's going to be huge. And while you're down there, you can go check out Where to Workshop, you know, go see where the Lord of the Rings was filmed and do all of that, mate. It's good. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a great time next year, especially. I think things just seem to be getting better and better. All these conventions that are popping up, there's new ones coming monthly. And I think they're sort of all trying to outdo each other. And they're all trying to do a bit more, which is brilliant.
I think so, too, because always here in Chicago, there was always 2 conventions in the last 10 years. It was C2E2 and Where's the World. Now we have another one, Ace Comic Con. It's in the fall. And now there's another one in June. It's supposed to be a comic-only convention, but you know how that usually goes.
Yep.
They go from comic convention, ends up to being an everything convention. So we have 4 conventions here now in Chicago. Very weird.
Yep.
Very, very
so
weird.
Ours is, as I mentioned earlier, ours is Armageddon. In Auckland, where I am, it's every year in October, but it goes to every major city up and down the North and South Island as well. So theirs will start sort of, I think, down in Wellington starts mid-April, and then it goes to the South Island, does a couple down there, then it comes back up to Auckland for the last one. They always have a few guests, you know, comic artists. They have quite a few voice characters and things like that, voice actors. They have a few actors. I know this year, down in the Wellington one, they've got Tom Welling, I think the actor from Smallville back in the day, who played Superman. He and Lex Luthor, I can't remember the name of that guy, but a few big faces coming. I think we had old Jeremy Renner from who plays
Any
Hawkeye
any
come last
oh
year. That
yeah, I
was
saw
pretty
that you
cool.
guys are getting Hawkeye. Yeah. Anytime
Yeah.
you get a big convention like that, it's always exciting. I mean, because it's always a great gathering and all that
Remember
stuff.
last year
Mhm.
we had the Fred and George Weasley, the twins from Harry Potter. They were there. A couple of guys from Stargate. It's pretty cool. It's
Yeah,
cool
very
that
nice.
we're not so far away now. We never used to get anybody come down here for any of these things really. And now they're like, you
Yeah,
know what, New Zealand's not that far. We can go check out have a holiday while we're down there.
you're gonna have to make it out to the States one day here into the US so you could check out one of
Dude,
our conventions, how the big boys do it.
hell yeah, man. Like, if I think I was going to make it, like New York or San Diego, it would have to be one of those two big ones. They're the Mac Daddy that I've heard about for years, and I'm like, I need to go. I need to see one of
New,
those.
New York is a big one, but also what catches my eye is New York Toy Fair, where I think since you
Dude,
went last year, Shartimus Prime went that year. It
that,
looks beautiful.
that looks
You know,
amazing. I would love to go to one of those.
I think I'd rather go there instead of a San Diego Comic Con just because of the figure wise, and it just looks really cool.
That's
You know,
true.
it looks
Toy
awesome.
Fair is very, very figure oriented, isn't
Hmm.
it? It's as well as stuff to buy. There's so much to see what's coming out, and
Exactly.
hell,
You know, you don't have that pressure to buy stuff all the time. You know, and also the thing is when you have it compared with Toylanta this year, you know, there's
yeah,
Toylanta, and I think since he mentioned something about Kane County Fair in the Chicago area, that's a really big toy convention. We usually have over 300 tables and 300 booths, and there's art and all this stuff. It's
that's badass,
not
man.
a convention. We get no guests, but it's a bunch of toys from all around the Midwest and all this vintage stuff. You get GI Joes, Marvel Legend vintage, Star Wars vintage, everything. It's just an amazing toy show. Also in October, which hopefully some of you guys can make it come on by. That is going to be a massive toy convention in the Midwest. You guys can't miss that, especially if you guys went to Toylanta this year. And from everything I saw, this is twice, three times as big as that one.
Damn, see, that sounds so good to me. With like where I am, my local, we've got a little. It's called. There's two. There's one called Retcon, and there's one called
Hmm.
Pop Culture, and it's two little sort of meet and greet shops that this one guy set up, and it's twice a year. There's one in this first half of the year called Retcon coming up in end of April, and there's one called Pop Culture that comes that's in about December, and it's just everybody. There's usually about 20, 30 tables with people selling bits of their collections and displaying stuff and comics and whatnot. And people just, like-minded individuals will get together and we show what we have and we trade, sell, whatever. It
Hmm.
started off beginning of last year, and there was maybe 6 tables. And it was so good and so popular that first half of the year. By the second half of the year, they had it again. They had 30 people there show up the second time around. So they're planning big things for April. Big things.
You
That's
know
what I
what?
mean. April's the month, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you know what that means, man. Big things popping, little things stopping. You know.
That's it, mate. That's it.
Well,
I'm
we're
looking
going on
forward to it.
44 minutes. We're going on 44 minutes now. So we hope you guys like this podcast. We're going to be ending it. We were going to be usually keeping it from 40 to 1 hour mark. We're gonna, like I
Yep.
said, we're going to bring you content weekly. Next podcast we're going to have on, we're going to have a special guest on. Well, stay tuned for that. I know we're going to have Austin Collins on. We're going to have Dogs on in a few weeks. And we already talked to him. And we're also going to have Foxy Fox for real, one of my good buddies. He will be on the podcast. And we're still sorting that out. I'm not sure how much he wants. I think it might be $1,000. What do you say, Kiwi? Maybe $1,000 each from us for that
Is
guest
he?
appearance.
No. Is he going to pay us each $1,000?
Oh no, I think we got to pay him. He's too
Oh
big
fuck!
for us, man.
We'll get somebody
Yeah.
new, mate. It's too
Oh,
expensive.
well,
No,
I'll
no,
try to
no.
figure out. But yeah, we got a good lineup of special guests coming on weekly.
Hell yeah.
Well, every week we're gonna have something new, something better for you guys, something to talk about. Let us know what you guys like about this podcast. Send us a message. We hope we entertained you for this 45 minutes that we just ramble on. It's gonna be a pleasure to meet you guys one day. And yeah, that's just our closing thoughts. We hope you liked it. Sam, want to end it for us?
Yeah, definitely. Hope you guys the jabbering on we've been doing. Hope your discussions get your brains thinking about what things you want to collect next, what do you want to see next. Keep collecting, keep watching stuff, man. It's a good time to be alive. There's so much out there for us to be and see. Go hard. Crack a beer while you're doing it, or a Coke if you're too young. Luckily, the drinking age is 18 in New Zealand, so come on down.
Well, still 21 here, but it's not going to stop some of these people. But hey, like I said, nothing wrong with a nice Coca-Cola or Pepsi, whatever you guys like.
Exactly.
Not trying to start no beef in this community or another thing. But
we get some Dr. Pepper purists out there.
There you go. You can't go wrong with a nice Dr. Pepper.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Exactly. All right, everybody. We will see you again next week. Be sure to check out Spotify. This podcast will be dropping on Spotify also. And everybody, have a good night. Have a good morning.
Subscribe
have a good day.
To Sippin and Spitting.
There you go. Subscribe to us on Instagram, on YouTube. We will be dropping it on YouTube as well under the Iron Patriot name. We're going to figure out how to change it into a different YouTube channel. But all this, just be patient with us while we figure everything out. We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys for stopping by, and have a good one.
Peace.